Amy, the hybrid administrator for Rudolf the tall white alien. As you can see, and as you are now well aware, this is the grand protective seal of the tall white aliens. This seal, embedded onto an amulet, has the main function of protecting against high electromagnetism. Some of the main effects of high electromagnetism upon humans include DNA malformations, immune system malfunctions, viruses can take hold, and many other harmful effects.
Greetings, my human friends. This is Rudolf of Germany, the tall white alien. Today is Sunday, and I would like, in a more relaxed manner, speak to you once more about the coronavirus. I have been speaking about it in the past few months several times, and I gave you information about this virus nobody else knew before. Even any scientists today, all the scientists today, do not have the information which I have given you weeks and months ago. This is my morning coffee. Yes, I told you about the culling of the human population. Now you may ask, is this virus not only man-made, but is it really meant to kill most of the weak and old and deprived on this planet on purpose? Is there a force behind it which is planning the killing of most of humans, except the young and brilliant ones, which can be of service? Sure, this is of course the case. I told you that before. I also told you a very important piece of information which is still not known to science and medicine today. The fact that the coronavirus behaves very similarly to the herpes virus, and once you caught this virus, once you get infected, it will linger in your spine, and there it will stay until you die. That means you will occasionally, whenever your immune system gets weak, get a coronavirus outbreak. And each time this happens, your immune system, your general health situation will become weaker. And this can happen for 4, 5, 6, 7 times during a lifetime. But since you get, if for example you caught this virus at a young age, you get weaker each time. Your life expectancy also will diminish, and in your 50s, maximum in your 60s, you probably are going to die on an outbreak. This is not known to human science so far, and I just wanted to remind you that the breakdown of the immune system so that the virus can take action again has a lot to do with the enormous onslaught of electromagnetic waves up on the human organism and the organism of other life forms as well. It's not only that humans are affected by the tremendous amount of electromagnetism which is artificially thrown up on all life forms on planet Earth. This fact, particularly when you look at the possibility of 5G, this fact that artificial pumped up electromagnetism is being forced up on human biological life forms which already function in their cells because of electromagnetic impulses. If you just think logically about it, you will come to the conclusion yourself that this cannot be healthy. This cannot be something which can be sustained for a very long time, particularly now with the 5G implications, with the 5G practically being forced up on humankind in the future. We did make for most human, not understandable, not perceivable 5G and electromagnetic repellent. This is our amulet. I have told you that before. This gives you some kind of shield, so electromagnetism, as it is forced upon humans, can be repelled to a certain degree, at least, and keep your immune system stronger. So the outbreaks of the coronavirus, these episodes of outbreaks, are going to be less frequent and less severe. This is only another piece of information. I told you before, many people by now have this coronavirus or electromagnetic repellent amulet, which we call the grand shield of the tall white aliens, which has also some other potent good effects on the bearer of it. Good. This said, I want to speak one more time about the effects of the coronavirus on the economical side of human life. There has been a lockdown for months now, and the only way that humans so far survived was that under very crucial circumstances, some of the supply lines for food, medicine, and other important goods have been kept open. There have been workers exposing themselves to the danger of getting this virus, have been still working in processing plants, and people work also in farming. But the supply lines are cracking right now. The problem is that whenever there is a loosening of the restrictions of movement, when people who are in lockdown, just sitting at home, not having contact with others, then the spread of the coronavirus can be slowed down. It will not be stopped. It is not possible to reverse the coronavirus completely. And as long as there's one human being who has this virus in him, he's a potential nuclear bomb for all of mankind. That has to be kept in mind. So the spread of the coronavirus will not stop. But in the meantime, there will be some key industries kept open. Like in the United States right now, you will experience that the lockdown is being slowly lifted, so more people can go to work, and the industry and economy in general should, at least to a certain part, come back to life. But there is a catch-22 to it. You lock people completely in, everything comes to a stillstand, and people will die of hunger. You let people go back to work, then they infect themselves with or under each other and get sick. And when people get sick, more and more severe over the years, because the outbreaks will be more frequent, then the capacity of the workers to do their work well and right will diminish. So just by loosening the lockdown of the population, and some people will go back to work, will in the long run not help to prevent the total breakdown of society. Because the ones who go to work, and these are the ones who do also physical labor, we're talking about trash removal, we're talking about many, many different jobs which are still depending on human hands. All of these people will eventually get the coronavirus and carry that home to their families. So the lockdowns in certain areas, in certain cities, and in certain industrial plants will be more and more frequent. If there is an outbreak of the coronavirus in, let's say, a car producing company, a plant like Ford, then certain parts of that plant have to be shut down. The supply line will be interrupted for a week, for a month or so. And the same thing will be in thousandfold over in other industries whenever there is an outbreak. A complete normal going back to work will in the future of mankind not be possible anymore. You have to realize that. The virus is here to stay. The virus is fighting the human body, and there are 8 billion people who are eventually being affected by it. And the life expectancy of humans is going to be diminished. Just by throwing money on people, as the Federal Reserve does, in order to make people spend more money and keep the economy up, does not do the job. If a country does not produce all the goods needed, and they rely, as the American or other Western economies have, on the supply of cheap labor countries like in Southeast Asia, and don't produce anything themselves, just buy things, they are in trouble, because in the future these countries, which also will be affected by the coronavirus, even if they at the moment are much better off because their population is much more observed, and there are people who are used to wear masks, for example. One day they will make sure that their population will be the first ones to receive the life necessary goods. And just by having money and buying, you will not be able to survive. You have to produce goods in your own country. And in the United States, for example, there is very little which is still being produced because Americans are used for very little money by whatever they need abroad. But even if we turn this system around, and there will be an upspring of many, many different companies again in America which will produce their own goods to take care for their own population, it is too late. It is simply too late. It takes years to create a working economical system again, and for this there is not enough time, because on the other side of the spectrum the virus is working much quicker than the economy can create new businesses. And when you create new business over years, but the population get more and more weakened and affected by a virus, you can see that is the end of humanity. The end of humanity, except for a very few insiders who have the knowledge, who are on top of it, who know how to prevent to get ill. There will be islands of security which have many, many tiers of protection around them, where a few million people are going to live. And the rest will intermingle with each other and make each other sicker every single day. You see how desperate the President of the United States and other Western countries are, and how much, for example, Donald Trump is blaming China for the situation the world is in. But think for a moment, what does it help to blame some other country for the outbreak of a virus? Isn't it much more important to find some kind of way to contain it than to look back and say, you were responsible for it, we're going to sue you in the next few years in the international courts for compensation? What is the compensation good for when you in the meantime practically be erased from the face of planet Earth? Well, this is just a little bit of information and remembering, reminders of that what I have said before. The culling of the population, that the coronavirus has the similar behavior than the herpes virus. I have told you as one of the first ones, if not the first one, that this is a man-made virus which behaves and has also strains of the HIV virus. Nobody spoke about this before except me. Well, you can say, Mr. Rudolf, you are a very eccentric being, may be a human or an alien being, but you are kind of strange in the way you behave and dress. Well, always keep in mind, as a tall white alien, I am a non-human entity, and I don't have the same or similar ways of behaving than, for example, human beings or other creatures behave. We have our own unique form and way of living, and as such, I'm not able to do anything else than what I'm doing. Until next time, Rudolf of Germany.